If you're designing your own space, it is a luxury. And if you're trying to find all the design elements, all the elements required to create a beautiful space, chances are that many of them are not available to consumers like you. We're talking about custom elements and creating it so it fits your space, made exactly for you. So if you do it on your own, I guarantee you'll buy something and have to return it. I'm Risha Walden, and I've been helping luxury homeowners for over 15 years create beautiful homes that they want to live in. In this video, I'm going to share with you my top 8 secrets for creating the designer look. And I'm going to start off with the first one. It's function. I know that sounds weird, right? What does function have to do with the designer look? But it's so key to create a designer look, because if you don't know what that room is being used for, it's really hard to create a cohesive design that is going to help you live your best life. You're not sure what the room is. Is it for watching TV? Is it for eating dinner? Is it for hanging out with friends? Is it for reading? And it can be many of these things. It could be more than one. But having the function and really honing in what is this room being used for really helps direct the design so that it becomes very detailed and expansive. Every detail is being directed to the function of that room. So number one for creating that designer look is figure out the function of the room. You can do that. Number two, top tip, is remember all your surfaces. We have floors and walls, yes, but we also have ceilings. And that is a whole palette available to creating the look, the ambiance, the feeling that you want to have in your home. So don't forget about all your surfaces and think about the ceiling. I personally love to paint ceilings, wallpaper ceilings. You can put trim up there. There's so many options. You could put pattern, you could put ceiling tiles, wall tiles. There's so many great options for including that final surface of your space. And it's that detail that really creates that luxurious room. Don't just think it has to be white. My third tip for creating that designer luxury feel in your home is sound. Now, how does that got to do with anything? Well, again, it's these things that make it feel like a design home. And sound is so crucial. It should have a very soft sound when you enter the room. It should be luxurious, and it's not a tin box where the sounds are rattling around. One way to create that is making sure that you have enough upholstery and soft pieces in the room to absorb that sound. You have a carpet, put a thick carpet pad. That adds an additional source of a sponge to pull the sound in so that it's not just banging around, making the room feel hollow. And it's amazing. It really can, the sound can make the room feel warm and inviting. So don't forget that you want to put a lot of warmth, a lot of upholstered surfaces somewhere in there to soak up the sound. You might even need acoustical tile on the ceiling if it's that kind of room, and it's going to give it that luxurious feel. Who knew? Sound is so important. And my fourth tip for you is the small details: switches, outlets, mechanical controls, hardware. These are all the small little details. And if you go to Home Depot, you're going to see that there's a few options. But there are so many more options than that. What do all the lights switch and the outlets, do they match in shape and in color? This is a small detail that people often forget. If you've wallpapered the walls, have you also wallpapered the switch plates? That is such a luxurious touch. It just blends everything in. And the hardware, does it feel heavy? Does it feel substantial in your hand? Does it give the feel of luxury? That is so important. Does it have a beautiful, warm finish to it? There's so many, not just, okay, does it look right, but does it feel right? Does it have the right color? When you're talking about these small details. And also when you're designing the room, do you want to make sure that those details are in the right places? That the thermostat is not in the middle of the wall. So it's going to impede art placement later on. That's always a problem. Switches, are they lined up nicely in an easily accessible area? That's important. Outlets, are there enough outlets? Are they going to meet your needs in that room? Goes back to the first idea, which was function. If this room is an office and you're requiring numerous outlets for the printers or other computer chargers, lamps, whatever, you don't have enough and now you're running cords everywhere. Nothing luxurious about that. So these small details in the placement and the selection of outlets, hardware, switches, mechanical controls, so important. We haven't even got to the pretty stuff yet. There's so many details when we're talking about luxurious homes, when you're talking about luxury. So if you're finding these tips valuable and you're serious about your project, click the link below and you can schedule a complimentary discovery call. And we'll hone in on what you really want done, and I will save you time and money. And when we do it right the first time, I've got 4 more tips for you on how to create that luxury interior. Now we're getting into some more pretty stuff. Think about layered patterns and textures. Implement them. Don't stick with a solid uni-color, same pattern throughout your home, throughout the space. It can be geometrics and circles and animal prints, and they can be layered on top of each other. Even if you're doing a very neutral space, the patterns can be in the fabric, and it can be the color on color. If that is, you're looking for a cream room, very soft, and you can put a cream pattern stripe on top of dots, on top of geometrics, where the pattern is apparent, it gives it depth, but it's not the drama with the color. So think about layering the patterns with the sofa is one fabric, the pillows on the sofa, the armchair is a different fabric, footstool has a different fabric, the carpet has different fabric, and there's different textures. It's not all silk. So you got boucle and chenille and velvet, faux leather, some faux fur, lots of corduroy, cotton, linen. All these different textures in different weights can add interest and luxury to your space. Don't get stuck in one thing. And that would fall into my next tip, which is don't do a matching color palette. All right. You want neutral. You want that glam, cream look everywhere. It doesn't have to be the same cream. It doesn't have to be the same white. There are plenty of whites, and you layer them on top of each other. So you get a very dimensional, interesting color palette, even if you're staying in the same color. So if, for instance, you want to just stick with red, there are so many different colors of red, and they all come together because you're pulling in the base color the same. So, but the red, there's blood red, there's sangria red, there's chili pepper red, there's Valentine heart red, so many reds. So think about using all those colors and not just apple red in the room. That's going to add dimension and interest and fun. My 7th tip to you is incorporate furniture pieces that have a multifunction aspect to it. And what I mean by that is there are lots of littler pieces that can be utilized in the space that can do double duty. So it could be an ottoman, but it could also be a side table. It could be a coffee table, or it could be a bench. The reason why I like these multifunctional pieces is it gives you options. What's more luxurious than that is having the options, the freedom to make choices, to pull in more seating, particularly more seating. That's where these multifunction pieces work, where there can be side tables, but it's a little stool that can be pulled in. And then in the event of more friends and family joining in, you have additional seating readily available to you, allowing everyone a more comfortable space to sit and to chat and be with each other. So think about some of those furniture pieces that can do double duty, or that they can be placed to expand and fill out an area, perhaps a console that you have on one side, and then underneath 2 ottoman, maybe round ottoman, that can sit there, could be pulled out and then brought over to the main sitting area to be used as additional seating, or as a side table to put a tray on. That gives you options That's freedom. In my book, that's luxury. Now, here is the final point for you to create luxury in your own home. This is a top tip. This is the best tip because you can do this right now, and that's lighting. I am such a fan of lighting. It changes everything in your room. And it's not just the kind of lighting that you have in your room, but also the quality of light. Now, we have natural light that comes in from the outside through windows, so we take into account the natural light, and that can be altered if we're using window treatments. If we want to black it out, if we want to diffuse it, that is a type of lighting is in the window treatments. But we want to layer it, so we want to have overhead lighting, such as recessed lighting in the ceiling, large overall lighting that will light the space. Put those on dimmers. And then we want to have lamps that are task lamps, space lamps for reading, bringing attention to the seating area so you could sit down and read, see each other properly. So that's like task lighting. And then you want to have accent lighting, little smaller lamps, softer lamps that are highlighting areas in the room, bringing some lightness into the corners, shadows. I love a warm light. And there's different lumens from about 1500 up to about 4,000. The most common being around 3,000. The higher than lumens, like 4,000, it's a very bright white, blue, and it has a blue tinge to it. That's great in hospitals. But this is your home. This should be luxury. So I like to stick when I'm on the other end of the scale around 2,500 lumens, 2,700 lumens, warm light, soft, and put everything on dimmers. Or make sure that the light bulbs that you use have, maybe it's a three-way bulb. So you have 3 different settings on the light bulb. But it allows you to create different ambiances in the room. And that is what's going to make the room really stand out, is this lighting. These are my top tips. So if you like this video, and you'll love this one over here, click here and I'll see you over there.